Hi class, Jolene here. We're going to talk about and take a look at how to use the blend tool to blend lines together, such as these. These are lines, these are shapes, and I'm going to show you all these different variations. And this is going to relate to the assignment lesson one, where you're going to create a cover for a technical manual. So this technique works really well for that. So we're going to start with, I'm just going to start showing you different ways you can use this blend tool. So I'll start with using the line segment tool and create a line. I'm going to hold down shift and that'll make the line perfectly straight. So we can see that line is 7 points thick. I'm going to drag this down to about here, hold down Alt and Shift at the same time, which drags it straight down and also makes a copy of it. And then I'm going to change the size of that stroke to 1 point. Then I'm going to select both of these and click on the blend tool. Notice that the shortcut is the letter W. And then I'm going to click on each one of these lines. And so now you can see that Illustrator automatically blended them by starting with the thinnest 1 point line up and everything in between up to the 7 point line. So let's say, what if I don't want there to be so many different lines in between? How do I change that? Well, we're going to go to Object and Blend Options right there. And we get this Blend Options dialog box. So right now, we have the specified steps, which is how many steps the blending tool will create between the two that we place there, set at 10. So I'm going to turn on preview so I can see what happens if I change this to 5. And then click here. So now we can see that there's 5 steps in between. Let's make it 20 to see how that works. So now we have 20 steps in between. Note that there's a couple of other things you can do here. You can use specified color, or you can use smooth color or specified distance, and we'll talk about those in a minute. So I'm going to say OK and leave that one there. And then we can do another thing similar to this. So I'm going to make where we have the blend tool has blended from dark to light. So let's make another line. And I'll make it thick so we can see what's happening. And now I'm going to make a copy of that. Drag straight down, hold down Alt to make a copy. But I'm going to change the color of this line to a lighter gray. So now we've got both of them. I'm going to go over and grab the blend tool again right here. Click here and there. And now it has blended the color. And it also made this shape. I'm going to undo that and use the blend tool again. And this time I'm going to see what happens if I just click right. I'll click here. There we go. So I clicked on the 2 ends. If you click at a different spot, you can make different shapes with it. Okay, so now we've blended from a 7 point to a 1 point line, and from a 5 point solid black line to a 5 point gray line. And that's everything in between. Now we can also do something like this. So let's see. We'll make a line, another line. And I'll make this one, this line, pink. And again, I'm going to make another copy, drag straight down, hold down Shift and Alt, and I will change the color of this one to blue. And now I will use the blend tool again and click here and here. So that blended the colors like this one did. So I'm going to go to the blend options and change this to smooth color. Click on preview, and so we can see that now we have smooth color going all the way down, which is almost like a gradient, but you can really control how that looks. Let's look at another example. Instead of using a line, let's use a circle. So I'll go to the ellipse tool. I'll make a circle, and I'm going to fill that rather than use a line. I'm going to make a copy of this, drag it down, and change the color of the fill to pink. Now I will use the blend tool again. I'll click here, and now it has blended them in the same way this one was blended. So let's go back to the blend options tool, and let's make this one make these steps farther apart. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so now we get a line closer to this. But if we change it to smooth color, then we get this. We'll say okay. I'll move this one over. And let's try something like this. Again, I'll make a circle. We'll make this, let's say green. And then I'll make another one down here and make this a different shade of green. Then we'll use the blend tool again, and this time I'm going to try clicking right here. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try that again. I've got the blend tool open here. I'm going to click this one and then come over to the side. Let me undo that. Let's try right here. Here. Hold on. Let's try this. Okay, so now you can see by clicking on these anchors, I'll do that again so you can see which anchors. I clicked right here. You can't really see it, the anchors. Oh, they didn't do it that time. I guess you have to get just in the right spot. Let me try that. Let's try this again. Okay, there we go. So I clicked there and then I clicked here, and you kind of just have to keep experimenting with it. All right, let's try another one. I'm going to make these smaller. All right, so this one that I'm going to show you, you can see it's going from a square to a square. So let's go back to the rectangle tool, make a perfect square by holding down Shift. Now I'm going to make a copy of that by holding down Alt to make a copy, changing the color to something light. And now let's try the blend tool again. I'll try clicking here and here. I'm going to undo that and see if I can get it to do what this other one did. This one is what I'm trying to emulate. And it's fighting me. So let me try clicking right here. Nope, not what I want. There we go. So I clicked right there in the middle and then here in the middle, and it created that shape. And then you've already seen how this will work. It's the same as this one. So that's some of the basics there. Now let's try a couple other things. All right, we're going to try something. I'm going to zoom in here a bit. We've been using geometric shapes here, so we're going to try this with squiggly lines and see how this works. So I'm going to get my pen tool for this one, and I'm going to draw a squiggly line, which we can't see because I don't have any color on it yet. Now I do. So there's one, just one squiggly line. I'm going to do the same thing and make a copy of that, holding down Alt. Go back to my blend tool. I'll click here and here, or here. Why isn't it working? Because, well, we need to go to the object, blend, and blend options, and switch this to specified steps. And we'll make this about 10 steps. Let's preview it and see how that's looking. There we go. Okay, so we've got the same size line, the same color line, and we get a design like this. So we can make changes within that line, those lines we've created. I'm going to get the direct select tool, and I'm going to click on this anchor and move the anchor. And then we can see what happens with that. Let's see how that one looks. So even after you've made the lines, you can make changes to the line. Let's make this one smaller to make room for other things. All right, let's do another pen tool line. This time I'll make it red, and I'm going to make a copy of it here and make this one green, and then blend them again. Click here, and it wants to find an, oh, I've never seen that happen before. That was cool. So I clicked in somewhere in the middle, and that's what made that happen. So let's take a look at that. Part of what we're going to do in this assignment is create deep space, the illusion of deep space. So you can see where all these lines are crossing over. It looks like this is pushed or coming towards us, and this is all farther away. So that's kind of what we mean by deep space. So I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to, this time I'm going to click here and then there. So that this is so dense because of the specified steps we have. So go back to blend options. Oh no, it was on smooth color. So change this to say 15, preview, and now we can see that those lines have gone from one color to another. And again, we can change the path, make things overlap, something like that. And we can even make another copy of this, and maybe we'll turn it like that, and then lay it on top of this one. So now you can see we get a whole new design from that. Maybe we change the paths. I'm back to the direct select tool here. Click and then drag. And the designs you will get from this are just infinite, literally infinite. Okay, so this is from light to dark. This is from one color to another. This is the same color. And this is just a matter, this one, a matter of how the lines were drawn or manipulated. Going back to geometric shapes again, I'm going to go back to the rectangle tool and then the star tool. Let's make a star. Make it smaller, zoom in so we can see better. Make it smaller, and let's make it red and make it about 2 points. And I'll put another one over here, copy another one over here. So I'm going to make that one smaller. I'm going to change the color to green. And let's see what happens now with our blend tool. Click here and here. And now we get that. Let's see what is happening with the blend options. So we defaulted back to smooth color. Let's change it to steps and 10 steps. Preview that and let's see how that works. So it has actually kind of twisted it along the way. So that's what I mean by you can do all kinds of crazy things. Oops, let's go backwards here. I'll turn on some other designs that I've done just so you can see. So here's one that kind of looks like an onion, but let's look at what the original lines were. Here, so you can see I used a gradient here for the line, and these are the two lines. One line here, and then the same line but turned the other direction, created this. Let's take a look at these. Let me make this one bigger. And let's use the green tool. Oops, backwards. Okay, so let's see what happens with this. I've created this line. It is a gradient. Now I'm going to click on it and I'm going to use the reflect tool. And I'm going to hold down Alt so I can get a copy of it. There it is, and now I'm going to turn it and move it to right there. So that's kind of interesting, isn't it? It kind of looks like a person with their arms crossed. So now I want to make sure, I want to create something like this, so I want to make sure I have specified steps selected. So I'm going to go to my blend options. Okay, I've got specified steps. I'll say okay. And now I'm going to click on my blend tool and I'll go right up here and click here. And well, they're touching. That's the problem. So let's make them so they're not touching. Okay, let's try this again. Click here and there. Okay, then I'll click here and just somewhere over here, and I get that kind of a look. And again, you can change the paths by using the Track Select tool and do all different kinds of things with it. So that's a whole bunch of different ways to use the blend tool.